Welcome back to Talking Shop with Shop Saber. I'm Brandon, back with the gang for another episode. Well, not the whole gang. We're missing a few today, but
The social media guys are gone, huh?
social media guys are on site today. They're doing some cool stuff today. They're out visiting April Wilkerson.
Good news. I'll be on site the rest of the week.
Are you? Where are you going?
Home.
Oh, that's a different site. That's true. Home. I liked your answer
I'll
there.
be on site at home,
On site, on home.
working periodically.
There'll be some work scattered within it. That's good. That's good, Chad. I like that one. That's a very green shirt you have there, Nick.
It is.
I like it.
It very much matches my shoes.
And the cast.
That
What?
took about 45 seconds.
That
to
took
get
45
into
seconds to get it. So Nick has a cast on, so that's cool.
Polka dots.
Some flowers.
Some
Oh,
rainbows.
flowers,
Rainbows,
too.
yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Did your daughter decorate it?
Yeah, her and Natalie did last night. They got
Holy
all
cow.
Oh my
filled
God!
up
It looks
there.
like that. What's that? Monsters Incorporated.
Yeah.
Saul.
that.
Is it Saul or Sully?
And
What's
then
his name?
And then a random
I don't know.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Annie on the side.
Random. How come I don't have my name on there yet? I've asked 27 times if I could sign your cast.
I don't know. Annie just came over at the Twins game and said, "Hey, can I write my name on there?" I'm like, "Find a marker."
You gonna
can
make
write
that
whatever
into
you
a
want."
sleeve when it's done?
I was about to say.
Maybe.
Could be your first sleeve.
Might just keep it on.
The cast.
Sure.
I know you won't. You've been complaining about that 24/7
I
since you
know.
got it.
You said you were going to bring your Dremel so we could cut it off. That you
Yeah.
never
Did you see the look your wife gave me when I said that?
She's not going to be here to stop you.
I'm afraid of her.
Oh boy.
Not doing it. Travis, what's new, man?
Just living. Just living.
We went to the Twins game this weekend together, so that was fun.
It's like the two of you.
Just two of us.
That's cute.
Just the two of us. Well, he doesn't drive outside of Lonsdale.
Yeah.
somebody had to bring him.
I had to call Chad 3 times before I even got to the damn place, and I've already
Oh,
been
yeah. I
there
was at the game, too, huh?
5 times.
Oh yeah, I saw his phone ringing every time you called. We were
It was-
all there.
It was great.
Oh, yeah. It was a work thing.
Brooke came in, his wife came in, and she immediately disappeared from standing next to Travis because he was so flustered.
Well, she didn't get a stocking cap.
She was like, well, I'm going to hang out with these guys instead.
She would have got a free Twins hat if he would have showed up on time.
He was a little late.
Some technical difficulties.
Technical.
I'm definitely used to driving in the country, not
He's used to
cities with
passing
construction.
the third barn and taking a right. He wasn't sure what to do when there was
I
numbers
just
on the
remember
streets.
Chad saying, "Go to ramp B," and I seen ramp B. I'm like, "Oh my God, we got to turn here!" And then I got on 394 and went 8 miles the wrong direction because they had all the roads closed. And then came back to straight traffic into
awesome.
the cities again.
Let's back up though here. I love the stories about how you are completely directionally challenged.
Did the Twins
but-
win?
No, I don't want to talk about
Oh.
the Twins. I would like to talk about that beautiful colored blue cast you have.
Well, we're in the playoffs, though, so we can lose in the first round.
Yeah, Twins are in.
You should be more positive, Chad.
We're Minnesota sports.
Fair enough.
When's the last Minnesota sport to make it outside of the first round? And go.
Probably the Wild.
When's the last time they won a playoff series?
And go.
1991.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See? So, therefore, that's why we're negative about it. But moving on
It's
to
the Vikings
more
year this
current
year.
events.
Oh, wait.
How is your arm feeling?
It's actually really good, but now that they have like the cast on there in the hand, like I can't turn it to make my arm hurt.
Yeah.
Now my shoulder and my neck really hurt, probably from when I fell.
It's from carrying all the
Probably.
extra weight there. It's a big cast.
I mean, it's probably, I don't know, 3-4 pounds.
Yeah, so our viewers know what happened. Why don't you share what happened?
I mean, it's not a very interesting story.
It's kind of interesting.
It's kind of
I
interesting.
mean, so I'm out taking photographs. I have a photography side gig, and we were doing some senior photos down by the river. And I was standing on the ledge above the boat ramp on some sand, and the sand started to slide.
Weird sand on
So-
a hill.
Yeah, I
starts to
mean,
slide,
I
guys.
moved my foot a little bit, and it started to kind of slide down. I'm like, I need to make a jump for it before I. Which is probably a bad idea. Well, then my foot ended up getting caught in one of those gnarly, goofy weeds. And the stand and myself kept going, obviously, and my foot was still stuck up the hill. He finds so much humor in this. I love it. No, but then I had my camera in one hand and my other hand was empty, so I tried to catch myself as I fell. And like they always tell you, don't try to catch yourself when you fall.
Never
but
try to catch yourself.
No. But I say the camera didn't get broken.
That's good.
My hand got broken.
Did you end up in the water?
No, it was on the cement, the boat.
Oh.
launch. The fishing shirt got a little scuffed up.
oh,
Sitting here today, would you rather have a broken hand or a broken camera?
Broken camera, 100%.
You would
Yeah.
have broke the camera instead of your
I
hand.
would have gladly spent $2,000 on a new camera instead of wearing this stupid club around.
So next time you fall, you need to smash that thing on the ground.
Use it as a pillow.
100%. 100%.
That's what I heard too. Is use it as a pillow next time.
It really does, though. It gives you a newfound appreciation for having the ability to use both of your hands for
Yeah.
things. Like, even something as simple as, like, taking a shower or buttoning your pants is like
Yeah.
ridiculously hard with this stupid thing and just fingers hanging.
Well, you know what's kind of comical here is this all happened on the day the last time we were on the show, because I was making fun of you about your fishing shirt, and then you chose to go down by the boat ramp with your fishing shirt on and end up hurting yourself.
And like I told you, I usually wear the same shorts and the same shirt every time I do a photo gig, just because whatever, it's kind of weird, but it's me.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear it that day because I didn't bring it with and didn't have time to stop and grab it at home. And here we are.
Slippery shirt got him.
Sure did.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you'll probably spend about $2,000 on that cast and all the X-rays and stuff. Anyhow,
Well, it's a good thing we work for a really great company that provides us some solid health insurance, huh?
That's
I
true.
guess I don't know
True.
how much that
True
stuff
story.
covers.
Yeah, I guess
true
I don't
story.
either. I guess we'll see when the paper comes in the mail. But
Yeah. No, I mean, I honestly don't want anybody to get hurt, but
no, we can all laugh about it.
we
now.
can laugh about it now, especially because then got everybody in the office to start asking when your face would be better. That was my
It is
favorite.
And even at the Twins game, your wife comes up to me. She doesn't say hi, doesn't say nothing. She just says, "When's your face going to get better?" And I'm like, "You can go tell Brandon where to
Yeah.
go right now."
It was great. I convinced everybody to ask him when his face was going to be healed. And
It's been no fewer than 20 people. I guarantee it's been that many people.
and the best part is nothing happened to his face. For anybody watching, he didn't touch his face. There is nothing wrong. I just wanted everybody to ask him when his face was going to get better.
Good
So
times.
worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Well, how long do you got left on that cast now?
Well, I got to go back in 2 weeks. They're going to re-X-ray it, so hopefully in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we were going to cut it off with the Dremel tool.
But
and
if I go back and they say it's close,
it's coming off.
I might leave it on for a couple days and take it off myself, and then just ignore their calls when they call me to come back or whatever. They'll just assume that it's over with.
I wouldn't do that
Why?
because I did that when I broke my ankle, and I wish I would have never did that. Big regret.
Big regret.
Just listen to him. You're already here. Just
enough.
wait till it's done. Go to the follow-up appointment. Make sure it's all okay.
It might
You only
charge
got
you
one
for the
hand.
cast too if you don't give it back.
Well, here's
I don't know if they do that anymore.
funny.
No.
Yeah.
Give it back. Like they're going to reuse it.
Hey.
Hey, we'd like to reuse this one on somebody else.
I'm telling you guys, this is a true story. This is a dog, different story, but similar. My dad decided to cut the cast off the dog and not pay to take the dog in, and they were going to charge him an astronomical amount for that cast, so he went dumpster diving for this cast for this dog.
I feel like something's different there.
They don't let you keep it though.
Same damn thing that he's got. They literally made a cast just like that.
So not to drag this on any longer, but my daughter Stella, who's 10, we have like this cabinet in our living room that
Yep.
Natalie has like pictures and decorations in it. She has her mom's ashes, and I have some of my uncle's ashes in there. And Stella's like, "So when they cut it off, can you like bring it home? We can put it in the cabinet with all the other stuff." And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure your mom will not want a gross,
stinky-
nasty cast."
I love kids.
But it was just kind of funny how like she thinks everything else in there is kind of cool, and this
Yeah.
is some sort of like memento of life.
yeah.
to
Well,
put
she got
in.
to draw on it. Of
Yeah,
course, it's cool to her.
That's fair.
It's got art.
Yeah, I mean, it's
True.
cool to her because she got to decorate it. It actually looks pretty cool.
I should tell her we should put some fishing line to it. She can hang it from the ceiling in her bedroom.
it's like a dream catcher.
There you go.
Dream.
Well, last week we talked a little bit, about some different topics, but at the end of the segment, we talked a little bit about supporting the economy that you do business in, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. I think as business owners and people in business, it's something that you think about, right? You many of you listening are probably thinking about where's things going, right? Where are we going with the future? What's our business entail? What does the economy have in store for us in the future, right? I mean, we all want to know that $1 million question, right? I think any one of us would pay a fairly large sum of money to know where things are going to be able to better prepare ourselves.
That'd be pretty nice.
It would be phenomenal if we could figure that out. But the reality is like, I don't think a lot of business owners give enough weight to themselves. Like, as you start to think about businesses and, even us as consumers, let's go there. You as a consumer, do you feel like you control the economy? I bet most people say no.
I would say no.
Probably no.
Yeah. But the reality is it's true. All of us as consumers actually control the economy more than anything. Because if you keep spending money and keep buying things, like, the money is still there in the economy, is it not?
Right.
Yep.
For sure. I think just a lot of people think they're only going to affect it if they put large amounts of money back in. You know what I mean? Like buying a machine or
Yeah.
buying a house or whatever you're buying. And I think everybody thinks it's on such a large scale that you affect the economy, but really it's everything in your daily life.
Everything. Because the more money you put back into the economy, whether it's you're buying, something locally or something large globally, the money's going somewhere. And that's where I think, that statement that you said, Chad, last week, you're the one who brought this up, is, support those who support you kind of a deal, right?
Sounds like something a smart man would say.
And when you think about something like that, it's true. Like if you put more money into American-made products in American businesses, your money is going not just into the economy because you spent money, but it's because if I ask you to build me a product, your people need to build it now, correct?
Correct.
And therefore, the employees of your company have to work. And therefore, the busier they become, the more people you have to hire, or the more work they need to do, and therefore the more you have to pay them, right? Like there's a scale there that's all trickle-down effect. And yeah, that one thing you buy probably doesn't single-handedly change the economy, right? But if everybody went into it with the mentality of like, let's buy from America, how many businesses are going to grow?
A lot.
All
Right.
the American ones.
Yeah. But think about how many businesses exist that way. Like, and then the flip side is, okay, if there's a high demand for something, what happens? Generally, people start trying to solve for demand, correct?
Yep.
So if there's a lot of people seeking this one item, businesses are going to pop up.
So by default, there'll be more American manufacturers
There's more.
because there's a demand for it. So more people are going to try to fill that demand.
Correct. Because think about this. If every single person said, I'm no longer going to buy from so-and-so, right? So-and-so's business is going to get hurt, right? But if they're not buying from so-and-so, they got to buy from somebody else. So the other person who was never preparing for it, right, suddenly is overwhelmed, and now they got to figure out how they're going to keep up. So, like, it's just shifting your thought process. And I'm not saying, like, let's go hurt anybody, right? Like, my thought process is, I think in today's world, we don't champion each other enough. Like, kind of piggybacking off this support, but it's support people around you, right? I've always been big on this as a, I'll call it a manager. I think that's the best way I can put this. As a manager, I try to champion the people who work with me and around me. Like, I've really been big about that. Like, and hopefully you guys can maybe vouch for me on this, but when you're struggling with personal things, or struggling with things in your own lives, or trying to understand something, I'm usually pretty quick to try to jump in and offer advice, or try to, provide guidance if I can, or, assistance to wherever we can.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And a different outlook on things.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Sometimes it's not financial gain. Sometimes it's not like I can solve your world's problem, but sometimes I can just tell you from my point of view what I would do.
Correct.
And sometimes just that advice is it's not about like anything other than, can I help you solve your problem, right? Can I help you get to a conclusion that's maybe better for you? And if we all spent more time doing that, in my opinion, again, it goes back to the old JB, growing up. My dad used to always tell me, and I've said it a bunch of times on the show, but you can have anything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want. And it's that same mentality. Like, if you champion the people around you, they're going to want to champion you.
Correct.
So, like, think about that as a business. If you're sitting here in business right now and you're thinking about, I'm just going to throw cabinetry out there because, again, it's one of the most popular industries out there. But if you're a cabinet builder, right, and you build cabinets, but you're not supporting the home builder in town, is that really helping you? Probably not, right? But if you start promoting the local town businesses, right, you're saying go talk to Susie's Diner, or if you want the best breakfast in town, go to see Susie, right? Susie hears your name over and over and over, right? Or the home builder in town. Hey, if you're looking for a custom home, talk to Craig. Craig does a great job, blah, blah, blah. Even though Craig might not be giving you a lot of business, but Craig does a good job. Even though he's not buying from you, it doesn't hurt you to tell everybody to look at Craig. I don't think so.
No. It
Because
doesn't.
Craig starts to sell houses, right? And keeps hearing Chad's name, right? Chad keeps sending people to me. I don't even buy from Chad. Maybe I should think about buying from Chad. Maybe I should now return the favor, right? So it starts to build that network, if you will. And sometimes it's not even that Craig might not give you any business. Craig's brother is a cabinet builder, and he's going to buy it from his brother forever. Respect that. But the person you referred to, Craig, might tell him, you know what? In this scenario, I want my cabinets built by Chad. Just because, hey, he's the one who told me to buy from you, Craig. I just feel it's right that we do some business with. So Craig might not recommend you, but now Craig's going to do business with you because the clients that you have mutually, benefited are going to want to work with you. And I think that's where like champion people can go so far.
What goes around comes around.
Exactly.
Well, and I think too many people are just in it for themselves and not willing to, have that sacrifice to help somebody else out too, and just get your ego out of the way as far as letting somebody else be just as good at you at something as you are.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I think the biggest problem is people see success from somebody and then they try to take it. They aren't happy for them. Like, think about this, okay? Let's look at sports. I mean, we're all sports people here except for one guy. Looking at you, Travis. But when you think about like sports, when the underdog comes in any sport, right, and starts being successful, everybody cheers for him. I mean, I think that's pretty common.
Absolutely.
You want to see the underdog win. Like, it's cool to watch them take down the giant, right? But most people aren't cheering for the underdog's success as much as they're cheering for the failure of their opponent, right?
Yep, for sure.
Like, everybody got so obsessed with the fact that New England Patriots were winning everything. They didn't care who the winner was as long as the loser was the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I don't know. I've had that argument with a lot of friends. It's like, why do people dislike greatness? Like, I enjoy watching Tom Brady. I
do
enjoy
too.
watching Aaron Rodgers. And my friends are like, how can you like Aaron Rodgers? I just like watching good athletes play good at their sport. I
Here's
don't really
the thing.
care.
They didn't hate Aaron Rodgers per se.
No, it's just because he plays for the Packers.
They hated the Packers.
'Cause
And
if he
be-
played for the Vikings, they'd love him.
Correct. Exactly.
Like
And
when
that's what I
Favre
was saying.
did.
It's like Brett Favre was a perfect example of that. Like, and again, we're talking about Minnesota sports here for a second for people who aren't around us and maybe don't even know who we're talking about here. I mean, hopefully you do. But the reality is the Vikings' number one, rival is the Packers. And so naturally, their awesome player, you're going to root against them because you want to see the Packers lose. Like, it's okay to cheer for a team, right?
Yep.
You want your team to win. But cheer for their success is what I've always said. I would rather you cheer for their success, not the failures of somebody else. Your negative energy is only going to come back around and get you. Because having that negative energy where, like, I want to win at all costs to make sure so-and-so loses at all costs will only hurt you. You know why I want to win? Because I want my team to win. Like, I want to see Chad, Nick, Travis, the whole team here. I want to see you guys succeed. So us winning is your success. That's why winning is important to me.
Well, and I think you can have multiple winners in the same thing, even though somebody ends up having to lose. You can still be successful while losing.
Correct. And I've always said that, competition is a good thing sometimes. Like, it's good for us to have competitors, right? Because it allows us to be good at what we do. It allows us to focus on what we're going to do differently. And as I'm hoping as business owners are listening to this, they're thinking about that themselves. Like, it's okay to have 3 cabinet companies in town. That doesn't make any one of you a loser, right? I mean, you all do things your own way in your own right mind, but by having 3 people in town to choose from, you actually drum up more business. There's more people. And yeah, you're taking a small part of the pie, but like Sean Morley is a good example of this. As a cabinet maker, he's always said, like, when he started getting into CNC many, many years ago now, he and I were first talking about CNC machines, and I couldn't find somebody who would talk to him in the area. Like, back then, the internet wasn't what it is today, and the videos didn't exist like they do today. So he's trying to just like learn more about Shop Zero products, and people that were in his industry, in his area, like, didn't want to talk to him. He's a competitor. Why would I want to share my success with him? Like, that was the mentality. And Sean, like, every time somebody calls and is like, I want to talk about the Shop Zero, Sean's like, let's talk about it. Like, let me tell you what I did right, what I did wrong, what I recommend to you. Like, he's all for creating success because, like he said, he goes, there's enough business out there nowadays. I'm not worried about what you got enough of your clients. You're going to be busy enough. I'm going to be busy enough. We might never even run into each other. Like, that mentality is, I think, what breeds success. And now Sean's grown to, like, a much bigger company than he ever was. They just bought a new building. Super excited for him and his wife and his family. But my point being is, like, if he had the mentality that everybody's out to get me kind of a deal, do you think he would have grown to that level?
Probably
Probably
not.
not,
no.
actually.
Probably always have that in the back of your mind, wondering how good the other guys are doing and if they're catching up to him or whatever.
Yeah, you're so focused on what everybody else is. It's that Michael Phelps. Do you guys remember that? Like, maybe you don't remember it, but it was like many years ago, obviously, when Michael Phelps was like in the prime of winning.
Yep.
He was going up against, God, I don't remember what country it was, but for some reason I want to say it's Russia, but I don't think it was. There was a swimmer that was also very, very good. And the media kept pinning those two against each other. And there's a very famous photo of Michael Phelps going for his, what number was it? 9 gold medals or something like that?
Yeah, in the same Olympics, yeah.
Yeah. He's going for like his 9th gold medal. And he's like swimming. He's like in full, like, if you could see me right now, I'm like stretched out. But
He is swimming.
Yeah, he's like swimming, but he's like head down, looking forward at the finish line. Like, that's all he cares about is how do I get to the other end of the pool. But there's a still photo from the left side looking to the right, and it shows the other swimmer. So they're side by side, and that swimmer is staring straight at Michael as Michael is staring straight ahead swimming. And it always said, and it was like a caption that says like, winners focus on winning, losers focus on the winners. And it was like the truest statement ever because like you're so busy focused on the other person, you can't focus on what you're trying to accomplish because now you're going to veer off course or what, you're going to slow yourself down because you're watching everybody else.
Yeah, and you can't control what Michael Phelps or someone else is going to do.
Correct.
So why worry and waste time on something you can't change or control?
Give it your best effort, and the outcome's going to be the outcome.
Right. I agree 100% with that. Like, to me, that is, I love it, Chad. Like you said, how do you can't change what they're doing. It's the same thing with racing. Like, I always joke with everybody, like, there is a...
Well, you could go slash some tires.
No, not even that.
Just
Like,
kidding.
you could. I guess you could. I mean, now you make it good. Why don't I do that? But in all seriousness, there was a... I don't know how much you guys follow racing, but there's a younger guy by the name of Ricky Thornton Jr. RTJ goes by. I actually have gotten to know his brother over the years. And anyways, he's probably one of the most talented race car drivers that there is on dirt right now. And there's a guy that used to be like the best of the best. Well, he's still very good, very talented guy, Scott Bloomquist. And Scott Bloomquist made some comments about Ricky, like didn't know who he was, kind of a deal. And it got the thing blown out of proportion, right? But it really came down to like making you realize that like these winners, they're all at home trying to win. Like the amount of effort they're putting in their own shops, is what you have to think about. And so somebody had made the comment about like when winners are winning, everybody else, all the losers, always respond with, well, he's just cheating. You know why they say he's cheating? It's because that's the easy answer. You can't explain why he's kicking your butt. So he's cheating is the easy answer. They owe this response, as Scott said. You owe a response to your, to your sponsors or your fans or whoever that why are you losing? Like, and he's cheating. That's the easy answer. Because I don't know is not an acceptable answer, right? So it's an easy answer in sports. Like a lot of these teams, that's, and it made me really, he was right. Scott Bloomquist is 100% right. Like people look at that as like, the easy answer is he's cheating. But the reality is Ricky Thornton is one hell of a driver. He's winning because he's very talented. He has a good team. They've got all things clicking at the right time. But the reality is like it's talent plus hard work.
I don't think people's ego will let them say
Correct.
No.
He's better than
he's
me.
better than me.
Correct.
Like
I need to work harder. I need to practice.
Like
I need to be better.
There's been many times in my life where I can say like I have been the underdog, and I've also been the guy that people expect to win. Like it's happened, and in both cases, I don't want to be either one. There's so much pressure on being the underdog because everybody's rooting for you and expecting you to go out and be great, but being the one that's expected to win, there's so much like negativity around that because so many people want to see you fail.
I would rather probably be the underdog.
Oh, I agree. I think being in the underdog is, but you can only be the underdog for so long before
Well,
you become something else.
Exactly.
So it's like it's the worst and best thing ever because the underdog is expected to win eventually, and the winner, if you lose, like everybody's happy, like they're rejoicing that you lost. And like to me, as a business, that's what you have to think about. Like your competitors, of course, they're gonna root against you, right? They're your competitor. But like I've always said, as a competitor, I never truly root against my competition. I root for Shop Saver, and I've said it in sales. I've been in sales a long time, and we've talked to a lot of customers over the years, and I'm sure somebody listening to this may recall me saying it to him on the phone, but I've always told people it's not my job not to sell the competitor's machine. Like, I'm not here to not sell their machine. I'm just here to show you what we do differently and why you should buy our machine. My job is to sell a Shop Saver, not to not sell somebody else's machine. And to me, that's really what you have to start thinking about as you support the economy and things like that.
And especially now that we're about to enter the fourth quarter of the year, right?
Right. As you get into the fourth quarter of the year, we get into that point of where people are gonna naturally, I think at the end of the year, you spend more money. I think that's fair to say, right?
I think you either do that or you pay more taxes.
Well, and I think it just in general. Okay, you're 100% right in business. That's a great point. Let's save that. Come back around and talk about the taxes thing. But I just think in the world spends more money in the fourth quarter. Christmas, right? Naturally.
Yep.
Holidays, like you're getting ready to go out and spend money. And that's why I think like it's so important for us to think about what you said, Chad, last week. Support the economy you count on. As you go into the fourth quarter and you start thinking about what you're going to buy this holiday season or at the end of the year, maybe look at what's on the tag, right? Mm-hmm. Who made it? Maybe that matters now.
Definitely should matter.
I think it should. I mean, I when I started dating my wife, she had zero care. Like rightfully so. I mean, I think most people, unless you're thinking about it, you don't think about it, right? My wife just looked for the product she wanted and she'd buy it. And I used to give her so much crap. She'd come home with something, the first thing I'd do is look at who made it. And I would give her so much crap about it. And when I do that stuff, like, it started to kind of like make her realize like it matters where it comes from. And then so she started paying attention. Well, then now obviously after we got married, she understood why it mattered to me, being that our family business matters on American Made. And now she does it, and she does it to her mom, and she does it to her family, and it bugs them now. Like, why does she care? Like, because they just don't get it the same way, you know? But I think it's that it breeds, right?
Yeah, but more people do it than
More people do it and question it. Like,
More
oh,
people
dude,
look for it.
check out this cool new thing I got. Cool, who made it? What? Why? Who made it? Where'd it come from? Like, you start asking that question, and now suddenly your buddies are going, God, if I have two to choose from and one can be made in America, I'm going to choose the American-made one. Because my buddy's going to ask me, and I want to be able to show him, yeah, I got the American-made one, right?
Just because you don't want to be annoyed by him asking you.
Well, it is.
I mean,
Some of
most
it is
people
that.
do that, yeah.
Some of it is simply that. Like, you're just trying to get your buddy not to be able to razz you, right? Like, it's almost knocked the whole table over.
Jeez, Travis.
Almost smoked me in the face with my
That
own
was me.
mic.
I almost destroyed this table. But that's the truth, though. Like, and I think the same can be said for in business. As you start thinking about that peer pressure, right? Misery loves company is what people say, right?
Absolutely.
You buy a product, and some people buy a product and it's not very good. And even though it's not the best, they'll tell everybody to buy it because they want everybody to have owned the same thing they do, so they look like they made the right decision.
I've seen people like that. That's not me though. I'll tell you.
It's not me either. Oh, I'm the
I'll
same
tell
way.
you right away. Like,
Right
oh,
away.
You don't want to buy that.
Like, I bought this one. You should not. You know, like, that's what I tell people all the time. Because but again, that's that different attitude. I want to champion you. I want to see you succeed. If I can help save you from making the mistake I made, I'm going to tell you what not to buy.
Yep.
Right?
For sure.
But there's a lot of people that are not that way. They want to see the failure, right? And it's the same reason why people can't look away from a car wreck. Like, they want to see it happen. You know, like, I'm the kind of guy, like, I'm going to prevent the car wreck if I can, right? Don't go that way, right? So it's the same thing in business. I think there's so many things you have to think about. But as you get into the fourth quarter, now let's talk about that. Section 179, Chad. You said something earlier that I said, let's come back around. For anybody listening, Section 179 is a tax savings, essentially.
Correct.
It does not exist always. It's a special tax savings that either gets renewed or doesn't get renewed year to year. And I don't know the exact number this year, but it's over $1 million in equipment that you can write off.
Jeez.
That's awesome.
Like, when I started doing this business, it was $300,000 a year. That's what it was when I started.
Is
I
that
remember that.
per business?
Yeah. Yeah. Your business can write
So
off.
if I had a cabinet shop and a sign shop,
Yeah, as long as you're paying taxes separately on both of them.
okay.
Yeah. But as you start looking, I think so. Hey, just for
I
the
guess
record,
I don't know.
We're
I'm
not tax advisors. Let me start with that right now. None of us went to school for this stuff. So the best person to talk to is your CPA.
They'll definitely know.
They should know this stuff. And if your CPA goes, what the hell is Section 179? Get yourself a new CPA. You should find a new one of those.
Then you can say, Chad said I'll get $1 million.
But in all honesty, it's like $1 million in savings that you can write off. And so the best way to explain this is, for a lot of people listening to this, like, you know, when the business owners show up with their new fancy truck and they are like, it's a tax write-off, right?
Yep.
That's what they're talking about. It's not that people just go like, you know, my favorite thing is in business is like how many people think as a business owner you can just buy whatever you want and you don't pay anything for anything. Like, that's not how the world works. Like, you still pay for it. It's like, you buy things with your money and it still costs you money out of your bank account, but you're saving money from having to give it to somebody else. Essentially, at the end of the year, you're gonna have to pay your taxes. And historically, business owners have to pay more taxes at the end of the year. You usually have to write some big checks. And these business owners, they have a choice to make. Write big check to the government, or make that check they have to write smaller by spending some money so that the way their business didn't make as much money.
Well, and hopefully buy something to make the business more money next year.
And that's the smart decision. That's why I say, going into that, some people go out and buy frivolous things.
That
That,
buy
like,
3 trucks that
Yeah, that's like-
depreciate and going to break down. and-
correct. 3 trucks that are going to cost you money every year. They're going to have a depreciated value the minute it drives off the lot. And does a truck truly, I mean, some businesses now, there's some guy listening right now that goes, yep, my truck makes me a shit ton of money. You're right. Your truck might. But for the majority of business owners, that brand new truck does not make them as much money. And so it's cool. You drive around in your brand new 2026 HD, but guess what? It is worth what the 2019 version was as soon as you drove off the lot. So it's what are we selling now? Is it 2026 models they're selling in the trucks now, right? I mean, we got to be 2 or 3 years ahead of where we're at this point, right? I mean, at this point, it seems like they're always coming out with the next year's model. You can buy yourself the new 2036 edition. How are we already there? How did that happen?
I try to stay away from car dealerships.
Yeah, weird. Why? But in all honesty, like you start thinking about that, and it's like, as you said, that truck depreciates so bad. But like, there are tools you can buy and things you can do for your business, which CNC machines just happen to be one of them, right? Right?
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to press a button.
I am
here.
going to press a button here, but I thought you had something to say. You looked like you were just ready to.
You went for the button at the same time I was going to talk, and we were in a stalemate.
We were in a stalemate trying to see who was going to win this one.
ShopSaber.com.
That's who won this one.
I heard that's a pretty cool site.
That's a cool site. But anyways, sorry to cut you off when I got excited with the buttons here, but what were you saying?
I don't remember.
Cool. Great. This is going lovely.
Well, while we're on that topic, we could start talking about, since it's the fourth quarter and things are going to start picking up. I figured it was worth talking about getting ahead of the curve, because some people at this time of the year, it's their slow time of the season, and sometimes it's about to be their busy part of the season. And whether you're talking about buying a CNC machine or whatever that next piece of equipment is for your business, it's better to start doing it when you're slowing down, or if you're about to slow down, versus trying to do it in the heat of the moment.
Well, that's a good point, because as we go into the end of the year, like people are scrambling trying to figure out what to buy, right? I'm gonna buy a new air compressor. Like what can I buy? Like they just buy random stuff for their shop. And there's an old phrase that is, don't put the cart before the horse, right?
Correct.
So it's like you'd want to be smart with your business. Like think about what you're struggling with in your business today. Like if you're not thinking about that already, you're already behind the 8 ball, because you should be trying to solve problems in your business every day. And when you look at it, I mean, I think a lot of people have complained this year about labor shortages and finding the right people.
It's been a very common one, is being able to find people.
Finding people, and let's be honest, it's not finding just people. It's finding people who actually want to work.
Right.
That's what I hear. People are like, yeah, I hired this guy and he didn't show up. Or he showed up for a week and then didn't show up anymore. Or stop showing up.
I don't think CNC machines can get COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Last time I checked, they can't. Last time I checked, they cannot. But it's the truth. Like, having equipment, it's a stable investment in your business with some extent. If you buy shitty equipment, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But, the point being is like running out and buying the biggest, baddest air compressor that you could ever buy probably isn't the best use of your money if you don't use an air compressor. Right? Like, well, I'm going to fill some tires on some bikes. Well, that doesn't sound profitable for the business. Like, you have to think about what you're buying and why you're buying it. Maybe you do need a big air compressor because you're going to add a bunch of machines, right? Makes sense. But if you aren't doing anything, you maybe don't need to do that. Maybe buying a CNC machine makes more sense than buying an air compressor, because the CNC machine is going to buy you more equipment down the road, right?
Correct.
Like the machine is going to, I guess that's the best way to put it. The machine is going to buy you equipment because
The machine's going to print money.
it's going to print money. I love that phrase.
I've actually heard that a numerous amount of times from customers.
I heard it a couple times last week. That's
Yeah.
why I just said it.
Yeah, but it's so true though, because you're not. So for anybody listening,
It doesn't print money.
it doesn't print money. Okay, I want to make sure that's clear. Some guys like, hey, did you guys hear that? We can print money. No, you can't print money, but like it's printing money the legal way, right? The honest way. It's you're able to put material on a machine and turn it into a product, and that is effectively printing money, right? You're turning raw material into finished goods.
Correct. That's why most states have these machines as tax exempt.
Correct.
Because they're taking raw material and you're building product that's going into the economy.
Which was a good point, because as we're talking about taxes and all that, like talk to your CPA again and find out what your state regulations are, because you may not even pay sales tax on it.
And then get a tax write-off. for
Tax
the
And then
same
you
Exactly.
still
way.
get to write it
Yep,
off. Yeah,
exactly.
like there's so many things that, like, you think about that. Like, how many products nowadays can you buy that you don't pay taxes on?
One.
CNC machines.
Right, manufacturing. That's about it.
No, but I mean, seriously, like, there's not a lot of them, right? You go to the store and you pay taxes on everything.
Yep.
Now you have to pay, thanks to certain legal situations, you have to pay taxes online, right?
Yep.
For a while, you didn't pay taxes online. It was the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
I bought everything online because there was no taxes. But then states caught on to that and got a little upset and sued a bunch of companies.
Just like when you went on the internet back in the day, they didn't have ads every 10 minutes.
Yep, it's true.
It's helping the economy.
Every time you push play on freaking YouTube now.
But then you're going to turn on and buy one of those products and in turn put your money back in the economy.
I've never.
I think out of spite, I would not at that time. I've probably seen an ad and maybe bought it later, but but I've never seen an ad and been like, "Ooh, I'm going to purchase this right now."
I agree. I've never been watching a video and they were like, but click on this ad. And I'm like, screw what I was looking at. I want to click on your ad now. No, I'm like, get your ad off my screen. I'm trying to show my buddy this guy crashing a motorcycle.
Right.
That's what I'm doing, But,
It worked on my 6-year-old on Saturday. I bought him a Nintendo Switch game because he saw a YouTube video about it.
well, of course it worked on your 6-year-old. He saw a reason to make dad spend money.
That's who it was intended for.
So I'm doing my part.
Good
to help
job.
out the economy.
See?
and boost it.
Boosting the economy. But it's true though, like I think about that. Like, you're right. Like I just try to get out of the ad as fast as I can. But I think there are times that like down the road I've been like, hey, I remember this ad. Like I should look it up.
Probably subconsciously put
Subconsciously,
stuff in there.
yeah, it gets you. But the point being with all of that is like, as you said, Travis. Where were we going with this, Travis? No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
originally, I was gonna say if you're serious, but
He was
for
saying
me,
get ahead of the curve.
For me, it's because customers right now are stressing when they're talking to me. Like, hey, I needed to get this all year long,
Yep.
and now I have to buy this
because my busy season's 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, fortunately for us, we've got low enough lead times now where we could definitely help more than any of our competitors, it sounds like at this point. So that's a good thing. But yeah, Section 179 ties into ahead of the curve because, again, if you're rooting for Section 179, legally you got to have the machine in your building. So if that's the case, if you order a machine, we're still getting it in your building this year.
Yeah, Chad, you said there was a guy last week you talked to who was down to us and another competitor, and the other competitor already is telling him that there's no guarantee he'll see a machine this year.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy?
That's huge for us.
We would
I
have it
love
to
that.
him in the middle of
Next month?
Yeah, middle of next month.
Yeah, so we're looking at middle of October. We could have a machine out the door. And there's
Not-
people that can't get a machine out the door by the end of December right now.
Not that anybody should wait till the middle of December to try
Well,
to get a machine.
the reality
in
is
before they
I bet
do.
in December it won't be the same, though. We'll be in the same boat as these other people because as things pick up,
Oh yeah.
like our lead times are going to grow.
Which it always does.
Yeah, like we just fortunately have been able to produce more than, the average company right now because of all of our integrated, but that's going to turn into more throughput, right? People see lower lead times, they're going to buy more of them, right? So it's a catch-22. It's great because it sets people up for the ability to be successful that can be prepared. But the problem is the unprepared still are unprepared. And so come December, when they think, well, I can get it done because I waited till December. Well, guess what? Now we're out till February. Sorry. Can't help you now.
But I think another good thing, too, I may have heard is that they didn't take another increase on the Fed, I think I
Yeah.
was told.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
obviously people that are looking at financing,
They
this-
still say one more is coming.
Right,
The Fed
okay.
said that they're still going to get us one more time with a bump. But yeah, the last financing or the interest rate hike, the last one was paused. So it's
good
kind of
thing.
nice. So, I mean, you're not seeing a huge increase in financing right now. It's actually, I got a meeting today at 3:30 about financing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, meeting with the financing company today.
What about it?
I don't know. I don't know yet. They said, hey, let's have a meeting at 3:30. So hopefully it's a, hey, end of the year, let's offer this super awesome financing thing.
I think Geneva always does a good job.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm
Absolutely.
pretty sure that's probably what they're calling me about. Is like, hey, fourth quarter's coming. Let's give your customers a cool incentive.
Because you could finance it and take advantage of the Section 179.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So you really don't have to spend your capital.
You don't spend any. You literally can use future spending money to write off this year's spending money.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And
And
I think if you finance with Geneva, too, they'll help you if you do have exemptions in your state. They'll help you try to push towards getting that
Tax
exemption.
exemptions.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
always do that.
I
Yep.
I thought they were really good about that, making
Yep.
sure that you don't pay taxes if you don't need to.
Yep.
It's another reason why I like financing because then I don't have to deal with it. Like you guys figure it out. Just tell me what my total is.
Well, and if it comes down to money in the bank, they're doing it the right way.
Yeah, because they don't want to get in trouble anymore.
Yep.
We learned that in the last recession. Yeah, no, it's the truth. Like, now you start thinking about it and it's like how crazy things have changed. Like, I think about the full circle thing. Like everything goes full circle. Like, we should buy American made. Hey, look, I found all these cheap Chinese products. We should buy everything from this place. You buy everything from cheap Chinese products, and then it all starts to fail, and they're like, we really should start buying American made again. It's just this full circle thing, And I
heard
think
a
that's
lot
where we're
more.
at right now.
I've heard a lot more of that lately where customers, like, in the beginning of the conversation, first thing they're asking, is this American made?
Yep.
Because I'm not buying anything that's not American
Well, that's the
made.
question they should be asking because I think as a whole, it goes back to we should support each other.
Absolutely.
I want to see every business in America win.
100%.
You know why? Because I live in America.
I think most of the people that we talk to want it that way, but they get get told something or get perceived that something is a certain way when
They're
it's not that way.
disingenuous, unfortunately. Some sales guys are disingenuous.
But does it also seem in the same tune that more people are willing to listen to you tell them why our stuff is truly American made and the others aren't?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, once you start talking about it, they ask more questions because they're, well, what's American made versus non-American made?
Does anybody get excited when you tell them it's American made?
Every time.
Absolutely.
That's what they do on the phone.
Then the next thing I do is invite them to our facility and see it in person.
I just want to keep wooing. Give me another reason. But yeah, and the thing that gets me sometimes is it's like sometimes you have people that you talk to, and they're like, "Oh, I'm looking at you and another American-made machine," and then unfortunately they tell you the name, and you're like, you got to be the guy that's like, "Ooh."
No.
And you're trying to be nice about it, but you're like, that's not even close to American made.
Well, I hate to say when you say that, and then they think you're the liar. For
Correct.
telling
Right.
them.
Yeah. It's hard because, again, it goes back to disingenuous salespeople. Some people make a living out of literally misleading people. And it's like, they're so good at it. They're so good at it sometimes that I think they believe it. Like, they just have convinced themselves that they're not, And it's like, it blows me away because I do this every day. And I don't want to say fire somebody, but I feel like I'd fire somebody if they were like openly just lying.
Like if someone called me and I'm like, yeah, we buy these from China.
Well, yeah, you'd probably not work here very long. But my point being is of like, if you knew something's not true and yet you didn't care,
I would have a hard time sleeping at night.
that's my thing. Like,
That's
I
what I was
think,
gonna say.
like,
How
I
do you
don't
do
like
that?
to say that I would fire anybody, but like, I feel like that would be the only decision, the only answer I would have left. Is because I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I know you're doing that and I'm allowing it. Like, I think that's what sets American business. Like, maybe not, but to me, American made is like, that's something that, like, when you're promoting American made, like, it's part of that. It's that integrity, right? Is that
Well,
maybe what I'm trying to say? Is like,
Yeah.
there's a more.
You're not just buying a CNC machine. You're buying almost like a partnership.
Well, that's my thing. Is like, there's so much more. Like, when I say we're made in the United States, right? When we're made in the United States, I'm saying that like, Chad is doing a job every day in the United States. Nick is here every day in the United States doing a job. And these jobs result in a product being made. Like, that's what I think of. I don't think about, like, made in America. Like, no, I think of, like, the people that actually built it.
Well, and how many other people do we keep employed at other outside businesses by
Correct.
doing our jobs here?
Correct.
Like all the guys that make
I like
where
it.
the steel comes from.
Yeah.
Spindles,
And then the guy,
pumps.
everything
Yep.
about it, like, is keeping a ton of other people employed by all the different parts and things that we get from
Correct.
other companies.
And that's, I think that's a good point because sometimes people are like, well, you said it's made in America, but you use an Italian spindle. Yeah, but I'm not saying I built the spindle in America. Like, I never claimed that.
So
Nowhere.
got ya.
Yeah, nowhere do I. Yeah, that's my favorite when they act like they got you. Gotcha. No, nowhere did I say it's 100% made in America. Like, I'm not promising you that the motors are from America. Like, yeah, we buy Mitsubishi motors. We're very open about that. Mitsubishi is not here in Minnesota. Like, do I buy from United States vendors of Mitsubishi? Yeah. But Mitsubishi's factories are where Mitsubishi factories are, right? They're in Japan. I can't stop that they build that in Japan, okay? But they're very good. But it's a very different when you're saying that you're buying the steel from China or Taiwan or India. Like, I'm not buying it from there. Like, I'm buying North American steel in raw truckloads, which you guys have seen. Sometimes the truck may or may not hit the building when they back
Well,
in.
and those pieces of steel are 30, 40 feet long they bring on a truck.
Big trucks.
They're huge. I mean, full semi-trailer length.
Yeah. And then we use very big forklifts and cranes with people that work in our building to unload them and then perform acrobatic movements to get them around the corners in the building before we cut them down and turn them into machines. Like, that's the part of American made that people don't think about. Like, buying that stuff overseas is a fraction of the price. But you guys all went to AWFS and you saw what those machines look like.
They're smaller.
They're not as big. Size does matter in that situation. And this is coming from a very short individual. But it's seriously, it's like you think about that, and it's like some of these machines are like, we build the same thing as Shop Saber. Then you see it, and you're like, that is definitely not the same thing as Shop Saver.
Right, you set our machine next to it. It looks like it's a kid's machine.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, then you think about like your product as a consumer, or as a business owner, like the people listening. Like, what sets your cabinets apart from buying off-the-shelf cabinets, or what sets your signs apart from signs I can go buy on signs.com? Signs.com a website?
Yes.
I'm sure it is.
But those type of things, like if you buy from these big box stores, right? Like, what am I getting differently from buying from you? Well, there's a level of service and care, right? We all know that. Like, that's the difference. Is like, I'm just a number to a big box store. They don't give a crap about me. But you do. If my door falls off my cabinet in 3 months, you're probably going to come take care of me. Or at least help me. Big box store is going to say, that's not our fault.
Call this number.
Your 89-day warranty's gone.
And the big box stores will give you all their blemish goods without a care in the world, where obviously, guy doing it out of his home or, doing it with his own family is going to give you good quality product. They're not going to give you all the bowed boards and knots.
Not going to give you that.
I was like, you got something coming to ruin something.
Oh, that was good. Come on. Not going to give you that. Come on. Come on, guys. Okay. But it's the truth. Like, you start thinking about that, and it's the service level that you get from American Made and buying from the businesses. That's why we're saying support the economy you work in. That's why we're saying be prepared, Section 179. All of this stuff is about, like, just building a better foundation, right?
For sure.
Yes.
We want to help you better your business.
That's what I'd like to do. And I want to draw on his cast. I'm really upset my name's not on them.
I was trying to figure out how to say, like, if I had wanted a roast beef sandwich, I don't go to Arby's. I go to, like, Penn Lake roast beef or
That place
Wally's
is good, dude.
because they're, like, locally owned by,
Yeah.
like, the little dude that's in there every time, like,
Yes.
cooking the food himself, owns
Yep.
the restaurant. Like, that's his deal. That's
Heck
his
yeah.
livelihood. Like,
We went bowling yesterday, and we went to the little bowling place in New Prague, which I could drive right to the Bowlerio or whatever the heck the big place is, and it's got all the fancy stuff on the wall and big bar, restaurant, all this stuff. That had a
laser
million-
tag.
Yeah, laser tag. Like, I could take my kids out there, right? Probably spent the same, to be honest with you. Probably not. I don't know, maybe. And we drove by that place, just for the record, because we were at my in-laws. But we drove back all the way home to go bowling in town at the local place with the owner sitting there cooking the food. When we
Correct.
ordered the wings, I watched him put the food in. Like, he was the guy who also got us our shoes, who took care of us. And then he had his one 48-inch TV set up so we could watch the Viking. But I didn't care. Like, I'd rather support that guy. And then him and I literally stood next to each other and booed the Vikings together. Like, we were super disappointed in how it ended. But, like, to me, that was you don't get that experience going to Bowlerio.
Absolutely.
Instead, yeah, they have it on their big screens and everybody watches it, and we're all disappointed together as Vikings fans, and it happens. But, like, I was shoulder to shoulder with the owner of the place. We were talking about football, like, not talking about any business, nothing else. But I knew that, like, I'm supporting him, and his kid is bowling. I watched his kid bowl, which, by the way, his kid is freaking good.
And
But he better be.
Yeah, it better be good.
and 6 months later, when you walk in there, he's going to remember that. And he's
Yeah.
gonna remember you
Well, I've been
talking,
there.
having a
Yeah, I
conversation.
had the hockey party there. I do our hockey party there every year. So for my hockey team, I bring the whole team there and, like, get to know them that way. So, like, yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff with them and we've gotten to know him. But it's my point being is, like, it started off as me just supporting him one time and realizing, like, I'd rather continue to put money in his pocket so he can stay open and do what he does every day. And I know that, again, like you said, down the road, one day I might need him for something, and I know I can count on the guy, right? Like, it's that you build that relationship, that foundation, and, he's always been good to me. He's treated our community good. He does a lot of stuff for the hockey teams and things like that. Why not give back to those type of people? Root for him, not against him, right?
100%.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't care if the big box store exists. Like, I'm not saying, like, I want Bowlerio to go out of business. No, you know what? Good for them. They're employing a bunch of people. Keep being successful. But I also want the guy at the local bowling alley to be successful, and I want to keep him in business so him and his family can continue to do what they do every day.
I do the same thing with our local Lonsdale hardware store. I've
Yeah.
been
Oh, just like
shopping
in hardware
there
stores?
forever, right? Yes, his prices are higher. He's different than Menards, right?
Yeah.
But if I can go a mile down the road, spend $3-4, even if it's $5 more on a product versus driving 25 minutes to the big box store, I'm always going to give him the business. And I've known Russ shit, 12 years now.
And you still come out ahead because you're not paying for
I was
all that
just
gas to
gonna say
drive
the
it.
same
Right.
thing.
The gas,
like
the
it's
oil, the
really
tires, the
not
brakes.
less to go to the big box store. It just appears less because the price tag was less, but nobody factors in the other costs.
I drive further. There's a Home Depot I could walk to and a Menards that I could walk to from my house. And I go down to the local one off of like 90th. I drive past 2 big stores to go to a smaller one because when I walk in there, I'm going to get help quicker.
Immediately.
And
when
I could just
walk in.
ask for what I want. I
Exactly.
don't have to search around and like,
Exactly.
hey, kid, will you help me for half a second? I know you're doing something.
Hold on,
but-
I'm TikToking.
Well, yeah, they're like they want to do their one thing and they don't really care about the people that are in the
Sir,
store.
I'm in bathroom supplies.
And they
You
probably
need
don't
hardware.
even know what you want or need. You know?
Nor do they
Correct.
care.
The dude at the hardware store has been doing it for 60 years and knows exactly what you need.
Well, even the young kids at the Lonsdale one,
Super
like
good.
I know what you're talking about because I've been in there too many times. I used to live in Lonsdale, so I went in there, and the kids that are in there, like they're trained on how to do their jobs. They're not just there to like show up and watch TikTok. Like Russ takes the time to train these individuals on how to do what they're supposed to do. So when I walk in, I don't like it's the weirdest thing ever. I walk in, I'm like, I need to know where I can get one of these, right? And I'm showing it to the kid, and the kid, I know the kid is actually legitimately going to help me find. It's not just like, I don't know what that is. Like the kid's like, oh yeah, no problem, that's over here. Like he just knows where the things are in a store. He might not know what this thing is, right? The thingamabobber, but he knows absolutely where to find it in the store. Cool,
cool thing,
good enough.
too-
I'll tell you what I do with it.
Russ then hired this manager Chase now, and I don't know how they link up, but this Chase guy hires and trains all these kids in.
Yeah.
And these kids, he tells me, he's like, obviously you pick through a few of them because not
Yeah.
everyone wants to work, but he says the ones that want to work, because immediately they're at the door greeting the customer.
Yep.
I go into Menards. Good luck finding somebody. When you do, they're probably on their cell phone. It's like, come on, guys.
It's down aisle 86 on the right.
And that's just it too.
Why are you the way
They
that you
will.
are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
That's what the kid's thinking when you walk in.
The kids at the Lonsdale hardware store will walk you right to the part where, like you just said,
Yeah.
they'll say aisle 87 on the right. It's like, dude, you can't even walk over there and show me because
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go over there and try to find the damn thing.
Well, anytime you go into Menards,
Yep.
it's a huge place. You can go up to anybody at Menards and be like, where do I find? And every time they'll tell you, you got to go down there to the end, and then you got
Correct.
to take 2 rights, and it's in the aisle. Like, they don't walk you there.
Right? It's like, dude, just show me where I need to go.
Maybe customer service is a good topic for next week.
We should talk about customer service next week. I like that because it's a good lead into next week's topic. Is that we'll talk a little bit about this because as you start to talk about this, supporting those around you, these are the experiences that you're going to get. So I think next week we're going to dive into that.
Why having one phone number to call
One number,
when you need support or buy a new machine is beneficial.
yeah, because then everybody answers the phone. But we can talk about that next week. Yeah, no, exactly. I like that. It's a good topic for next week, and hopefully today's episode, which was supposed to be a short one, turned into a longer episode, was a good reminder that you need to support your local economy. You need to support American made. You need to think about the businesses and the product and your business and how products that are made here and supported here can really help you. I mean,
Yeah, if you want a roast beef sandwich, it's probably a better place than Arby's to get it.
yeah. Don't, I'll tell you where not to buy a roast beef sandwich. I mean,
I'm
I
not
don't.
saying Arby's is bad, but I'm saying there's probably a local guy that'll make one better.
You know who doesn't make a good roast beef sandwich?
Who?
ShopSaber.com.
Don't go there for roast beef.
If you need a good cast, Summit Orthopedics.
There you go.
We'll take care of you.
There you go. But yeah, if you need a CNC machine, though, I can tell you right now, we're the guys for that job.
ShopSaber.com.
Well, I think we've rambled enough today, guys.
Well, you're supposed to say follow us on Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to say all that stuff. Yeah, follow us. Facebook, Twitter,
Twitter.
YouTube, MySpace,
MySpace, LinkedIn.
X. You can't say Twitter anymore, boys. It's X.
X.
You gotta go follow your ex. No, wait.
Whoa,
what?
wait, what?
Don't follow your ex. That sounded bad. That might be awkward. Don't want anybody to go to jail listening to this thing. You know, with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
Kyle and Jose are missing, but we'll be back next week with another episode. Thanks for talking shop with ShopSaver.